What's good? What's good? My intro powered tribe. It's been a minute, but I am back. We are back with the intro powered podcast. What's up, cuz? Um, I wanted to hop on and I got something. I'm so excited, y'all. And it has been a minute. Here we go. Where are we at here? Boom. Notes right here. All right. So it has been a minute since I've been on, and I'm doing two things. I got two things. Boom, boom, boom. So I am excited to share with you guys. Here it is. Yep. Um, what's coming up? What's I've been gone for a minute. Man, it's been a lot. Just dealing with some personal things. You know, um, yeah, I'll share it here. I've had working with young people for as long as I have. I've been blessed to be able to go to now. You do it long enough, you get invited back to their graduations from high school, from college, from grad school. Then you get invited to, their baby dedications and um, awesome things that they got going on in their life. And so I'm just been blessed and truly thankful for that space of influence I've been able to have in their lives. But sadly, I've had to recently attend and actually do the eulogy for one of my young people that passed away tragically. Um, yeah, and so I had to take some time away. I had to take some time. I had to kind of recalibrate. It was very challenging for me. Um, and so I took some time off. I took some time off. There was a lot I wanted to get done, but I said, you know what? I need to give myself time to grieve. It was very challenging, very difficult for me and for my Anthony and I. But I'm back. I've taken time to rest. You don't deserve rest. You don't earn rest. We are human beings. We need rest. So I'm challenging us, just a little commercial. You don't deserve rest. You need it as a human being, just like we need food and water, and rest is part of it. So we got to rest and you got to take time off. But I wanted to hop on tonight to just share some. I got my cool little light. Y'all can't see the light. I got y'all to see the light. This is a cool little light in the back. Got it from IKEA, but it's cool. And so I don't know if my IG folks can see it. Okay, it's all good. I think y'all know who it is. But I am. Y'all know I've been really. I am. Oh man, I'm excited. Those of y'all didn't know, I'm in grad school, so I had the loss, and I had to step in and support the family. And I'm gonna post later. We can still support the family. Some of you all know, and this family needs support. Um, yeah, family needs support and prayers. Please pray for this family. If I'm not gonna say the name on here, but some of y'all know. Please pray for the family. Um, Grad school. So one of the good things is that one of the challenges I've had, and I'm finally here. Some of y'all know when you're at the end. When you're at the end, I got literally, I think it's 4 or 5 weeks left of my last course in my pastoral counseling degree. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up about that, and man, it's been a long grind, but I'm here and I'm back, and I'm back on the podcast. But I'm so excited to finally earn this degree. I feel like it's built for me, it's made for me, and I can step into and use my gifts and just really see what doors God opens up and gives me opportunity to be in a space of influence and to impact lives and to help others, to really help transform lives. And counseling and therapy go hand in hand. Um, my wife is a mental health therapist, and so we're doing things together. We got some things coming, and I'm just excited to see the doors that God opens up. It's some of y'all know when y'all been in school, and if you've been into grad school or PhD, and when you're at the end, it's like, yeah, I'll be honest, y'all, I just want to pass. I just want to pass. Either way, I didn't want to stay on too long tonight, but I wanted to hop on and talk about burnout. Y'all know I've been on burnout for months and months and months. Burnout is real. It is real. Please do not underestimate burnout. Burnout is significant. It is real. It is the world now. The World Health Organization literally has finally acknowledged that burnout is acknowledged as. There's other language that might be a little confusing, but now they've included burnout to the list of diseases in the World Health Organization's diagnosis. Burnout is one of on par with anxiety, on par with depression. It is real, and now it's globally acknowledged and recognized. So anytime something shows up on the World Health Organization's list, you know it's important, and you know it's. And I feel like the pandemic finally exposed burnout as something that is on par again with depression and anxiety that a lot of people struggle with. And one thing that the American Association for American Medical Association just put an article out that I found out this week that one out of every four doctors is burnt out. One out of every four. One out of every four. So another commercial. Please do not assume. And we I thank God for our doctors and our teachers. I mean, some of these that have been in the caring profession have been doing the heavy lifting for the planet, for the entire globe, for all of humanity as we know it, that have gone through this pandemic. And to me, I'm going to say we're going through because until they say cure, I'm saying we're still in a global pandemic because this thing is still spreading. These new variants, point 0.4, point 0.5 is out here. This is real, and we gotta address it. We can't take our foot off the gas. We got to continue to take care of ourselves, and so you got to be wise. We got in certain spaces. Trust me, those if you haven't been vaccinated, I would strongly encourage it. This is not a political. It's a it's just a health thing, y'all. I mean, as soon as it became political, I knew the U.S. will splinter, and everybody will be on different sides, and it's just to me, it's annoying, as far as making things political when it's really a global health crisis that we've been going through. And if you haven't already been vaccinated, I would still encourage it. You don't want to end up with this thing, and if many of us have it, my Anthony and I've had it. We were vaccinated, we were boosted, and I'm thankful for it. I didn't want to have to there's certain things you want to avoid, huh? Either way, let me keep going. I want to, but I want to, and there's two things I wanted to do tonight is, and I'll say it here, I'll say it at the end, is next week I'm doing a special workshop called Beating Burnout, 3 ways to stop saying no, stop saying yes to too many things and getting your life back. Our no, and I flipped it, but the truth is that our no is one of the only solutions to burnout. Our verbal stance on saying no. We have to get to the space where we can say no, and we got to stop saying yes to so many different things because we need to get our life back. Some of us have been doing, even through this entire pandemic, we haven't even taken a break still. Some of us. And this is reason. So tonight, so I got a workshop coming up Wednesday, July 20th, 8 p.m. I'm going to post a link. In fact, I'll post it now. Is that you want to sign up, and I want you to join our workshop. It's a free workshop, but it's 3 ways to stop saying to beat burnout and to stop saying yes to too many things. We have a limited bandwidth. We have each day and each week, each month, we have X amount of fuel, and each day, each of the things that we're responsible for takes up X amount of fuel. But when we start saying yes to so many other things that eats up at that fuel, it takes away from often whatever you value. If you keep saying yes to everyone and everything else, as opposed to your key values and your priorities, it's gonna impact you in a negative way. It will, and it probably has already. And this pandemic has revealed to us that there are significant things that we are struggling with because we are burnt out. And I want to talk tonight about 5 reasons to address burnout immediately. Immediately, we need to address burnout. And what is burnout? Let me just talk about the definition real quick. Burnout, and I got it right here. Burnout is, and there's different definitions from the American Medical Association, from the World Health Organization, but it's really synonymous. It is really simple. We all, and if you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. Um, Emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion. So we know what it's like to be exhausted. You have nothing left. You can't do what you want to be able to do physically, mentally, or emotionally. which is birthed out of chronic. That means ongoing, sustained workplace. And I'm saying not only inside the workplace, but you can be stressed inside and outside of the workplace. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can still be stressed, right? And I'm just writing in the comments here the link for how you can register for the beating burnout workshop that I got coming up this Wednesday. Beat burnout. Here it is. Boom. Okay, let's see who shows that. Who can see that? Oh, that's on Facebook. Either way, I'll post it again. Burnout, let me go back again. Emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, which is birthed out of chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. See, we're built as human beings to deal with spikes in stress. Okay. You know, I don't know, God forbid, a car accident, you got to react quickly. Um, I don't know. We don't have to deal with a bear is chasing you. These are spaces that we need to have a spike in adrenaline and cortisol. The body releases the brain releases these neurochemicals in the body so that we can think quickly, we can react quickly, we can move and do things in a rapid space in place, right? So that we can get to safety, we can be take care of ourselves, help someone else. These are things that happen, right? And so the body releases these. But when the crisis is over, when the negative accident or whatever is has been taken care of, or it's no longer harmful to you or anyone else that you want to help, then the body those levels go down and we come back to a space of equilibrium. But the challenge is that chronic stress lingers and we get the spike and and how it stays up, and the body keeps thinking we're at a stressful space, and so it keeps releasing that cortisone and that adrenaline. It keeps releasing it, and it continues and continues. The body is not built to sustain those neurochemicals going on and existing in the mind and in the body. So eventually the body begins to shut down in other needed places to address this chronic stress that is continuing, right? And so and by the way, stress is anything that it has very demanding circumstances that puts mental strain, right? Intention. You're thinking about it. You don't know how to address it. I don't know. Example: when you get up in the morning, and I've had this happen. You go out to the car, flat tire, stress, right? You're late for work, and there's an accident, so you have to wait. Then you have to call in, and then people that are waiting for you, and all these things. You're stressed, right? Now, again, ways to manage these kind of things is get up earlier, check your tires on a regular basis. Little things add up. But what happens is that we become when we don't deal with things in stressful situations and we don't manage them properly. That means we take responsibility, management, responsibility, response able. I'm gonna get to that. We have to, when we don't manage it well, it starts adding up, and the body doesn't know when the stressful event or situation is over. So it thinks we're always at a stressful space every day. We never get a break. Thus, we gain and we become burnt out. What's up, Ben? I see you. We become burnt out. Okay, and it produces decreased job performance. Our performance goes in the toilet. We 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 have nothing. So again, because the brain is so has been responding to stress on a sustained period of time, it becomes chronic. That means it extends for a long period of time, and it causes exhaustion. So we're not mentally there. So our job performance goes down the toilet. It goes down the drain. Where we were before, if there's no way, if you're burnt out, there's no way you could sustain that ability and that the things that you need to handle and that you're responsible for at your job, your role and responsibility, if you're burnt out. There's no way. And so your job performance plummets. You depersonalize. All of a sudden, you start looking at people differently. You're short, you're critical, you're negative towards other people, right? You depersonalize. All of a sudden, you start minimizing other people. You start minimizing yourself. This is a space of burnout. This is serious, y'all. This is a space of burnout. Is that we have depleted motivation with a lack of personal accomplishment. Work, if you're going to work and you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything, you don't feel like you have a bigger yes, a bigger purpose, and you're able to, I work for the school system, and I get to see directly how my job, I do a technology, so I can see how my job affects and impacts how the students are able to learn and et cetera. So I feel good knowing that I'm responsible to help them get back on track and take care of things that they need to take care of with the technology. So they have the Chromebooks, they have the smart boards and laptops and whatever you could think of, Elmos, all those things. I'm responsible to making sure they work. So I get the additional benefit from supporting the teachers and the students become successful in education. That is really, it really checks the box for me. I feel accomplished. But when you become burnt out, you start losing that bigger yes, that sense of purpose, that sense of accomplishment. You lose that, and you feel like, why am I doing this? What am I doing here? This doesn't help. Um, I don't like what I'm doing. All these things are symptoms of burnout, right? And so yeah, so I wanted to talk about these 5 reasons to address uh, burnout immediately. It's a health condition. It's a negative health condition that we must address. I went to the dentist last week, and I had a chipped tooth. And what happened with the chipped tooth is that every time I would eat on that side, food would get wedged in there, and it would affect the gum line. And some of y'all know, if y'all had teeth or gum issues, you know how painful it can be. Those nerves are right there, and if you don't deal with your teeth issues, and you think, oh, I'm good. Nobody loves going to the dentist. I don't love it. You're sitting there with your mouth open, all this stuff inside, drills, picks, sharp things. You have to get the shot. And your mouth is numb, and it's annoying. But when you're done and when you're healed up, you feel great because now I can finally eat. I can finally eat. It was such a joy. I had been putting it off for weeks, and then of course you put it off for weeks. Then the doctor goes on vacation, and then it just tumbles and tumbles. So I finally got in there, and I felt great after because my teeth were clean. My pain was gone, and now I can actually enjoy my meals. And this is is the similar to what happens when we don't deal with burnout. Same way. You think you're getting away with it. Oh, I'm good. I don't need to see the dentist. The dentist. But when you have a problem, when you begin to depersonalize, when you begin to look negatively at other people and yourself, you start putting yourself down. All of a sudden, those negative thoughts, that broken playlist that's stuck on repeat that you try to get rid of, but now it's back. Man, you're not good at this job. Then all of a sudden you're worthless. You're not, all these negative things start rolling in your head because you're in a burnt out space. The number one reason to address burnout immediately. These aren't in any kind of order, but we don't want to become someone else's problem. Okay, let's talk real. Let's talk real, because if you're burnt out, right? If you're burnt out, you don't want to become someone else's problem. Meaning, especially at work, when you're not fitting your bill, if you're not producing what you're part of usually most of us work in groups or in teams. So when we don't step up and we're not able to produce what we need to produce and check the boxes that we're responsible for, that ends up falling on someone else. And we become someone else's problem when we're burnt out, when we're mentally exhausted, when we are allowing chronic stress, not stress. Life is stressful. And it's not about if we are stressed or not. Life is going to bring stress, but how we choose to manage it effectively in a healthy, wise way, as opposed to a negative, reactive, and harmful way. We could go on and on and on. We know the negative, harmful ways that many of us try to address stress. Some of us use substances. Some of us use alcohol. Some of us use shopping. See, we can get away with it until that bill comes for that credit card. And then all of a sudden it's a huge deal because you've used shopping to address something that's more mental, that you need to address internally and with the professional. With the professional. Yes, I said it, and I'm going to keep saying it. And we're going to get to how to do it. You got to come to the workshop. But I'm going to say it here. Some of us need to get a professional. I'm going to park right here for a second. You need to see a professional. You've been burnt out. Not only have you been burnt out, but you've been burnt out for a long period of time. You're going through the motions. You're giving half effort. You've disconnected from other people. You're keeping people at arm's length. You're thinking negatively about yourself and others. You're mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. So you have nothing to give. So then the people that are closest to you, your spouse, your children, your family, your neighbors, etc., those of you who are serving maybe in the community, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a therapist. People are getting half of you, and when we shut down, we become somebody else's problem. That's reason number one where we need to address burnout immediately. Do not allow it to just linger, and it just like that bad toothache. You let that toothache linger, all of a sudden it starts affecting the other teeth. And then the headache gets worse and worse. You can't sleep. You can't eat. Then you're critical and negative. And I mean, just you see the tidal wave, just the rolling over. Let me keep going. Number two. Oh man, this is life, y'all. Y'all, some of y'all, this pandemic happened, and that created job loss, that created depression, that then a family member gets sick, then the car breaks down, then you know, you get knee tendonitis like I'm struggling with. I got knee tendonitis. I got heel in my right heel. All these things can be, more than one thing can be true at the one time. If you don't deal with burnout, life will continue to happen, and then more than one thing can happen at the same time. And because you chose not to address your burnout, now you have to deal with the burnout. Then you got to deal with the job loss. Then you have to deal with, you know, see, even good things, those can be stressful. Going to a new job, so you were burnt out before. You go into a new job. You think that's going to be easier to deal with? We have to be wise and smart to know that if we don't deal with our burnout, it doesn't just disappear. And I believe burnout is a spiritual issue. It's a character area of growth, I'll call it. I was going to say something below it. It's a character flaw. I'm going to just say it. It's a character flaw. If we don't deal with our burnout when we know we're burnt out, it becomes a character flaw. Because number one, we become someone else's problem because we shut down. Somebody else have to pick up the slack and do more than that's outside of their role, and then it has a trickle down effect, and then everybody gets set back. The time frame doesn't stick. You don't hit deadlines, et cetera, et cetera. Then more than one thing can be true. See, burnout. See, this is the challenge. You could be burnt out, and you think, "Oh, I've just burnt out." Nope. All of a sudden, you're burnt out. Then all of a sudden, you start feeling really anxious. Anxiety, yeah, you know who you are. I'm fighting anxiety. Notice the language. Not that I have, I'm fighting anxiety. Notice the language. We need to change our language. A little commercial. Some of us speak so highly of these conditions that we have, as opposed to being attacking the situation, attacking the challenge verbally with our words. Our words speak life. Like my mentor said, our words create worlds. So we got to watch how we speak about, especially about the issues that we have. So I'm fighting burnout, and I'm going to beat burnout next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. But we have to watch how more than one thing can be true. See, burnout can give birth to other negative, harmful issues that show up in our lives. See, burnout can birth depression. Burnout can birth anxiety. Anxiety births depression. And then we start dealing with some of the heavy hitters as far as our mental health. Lingering depression. That again, the mental health challenges affect us physically. Then all of a sudden we got holes in our stomach, ulcers, right? Can't sleep, headaches. I mean, these things are harmful. One thing that gets unaddressed, you just let it linger, let it sit, let it marinate. All of a sudden, all these other things become true. We're anxious. Then we start falling into depression. Then we can't sleep. Then because we can't sleep, we show up late for work. Then we get fired. And look at all these things that can happen. More than one thing can be true in life. So we have to be proactive and not wait and be reactive. Some of us don't even know what burnout is. We don't even realize we've been there. Number three, it hinders our momentum moving forward towards our goals. When you're burnt out, you can no longer think. And I'm learning more. The book I'm reading, I don't have it right here, but the book I'm reading is talking about how we need to imagine. We need to meditate, especially on God's word. We need to see ourselves as if we have received what we're praying for. What we received, we are in that space in our imagination, in our God-given imagination. We need to see where we are, where we want to be. We need to see ourselves there, because the subconscious, the brain, when we go to sleep, our subconscious does not. So when we meditate on the word and apply it to our lives and see ourselves as if the word has already come true in our lives, the reality has become has shown up. We see it. We see it afar off by faith, and we're imagining what we'll be, what we'll see, what we'll hear, what we'll smell, what we'll taste, what we'll feel. When we start seeing these things, we imagine it. But when we're burnt out, we can't. We literally have. We don't have the mental fuel in which to imagine with. See, when we're burnt out, that means our fuel tank is at empty, and we almost don't even have the fumes. Some of y'all know when you drive and you I won't say who, but there's somebody that I know drives until the gas tank gets on E, and then we live off the fumes, and we pray. We just assume that there's more fumes to push that car to get us home, and some of us have been living off of the fumes. We've been burnt out, and we think we can just coast and think we can get away with it. But if that car shuts down, if you shut down, again, you become someone else's problem. More than one thing can be true. So the car can break down. Then you hear the bad news where you got to rush. You got to go drop everything and take care of a family member. And then all of a sudden your health, you haven't been dealing with your health. So your health fails. Then you're dealing with stomach issues, headaches. All these things can be true. And then again, the momentum towards our goals. Some of us have goals. Some of the things have things we want to accomplish. But when we're in a burnt out space, there's no way those goals and dreams and aspirations can become a reality. There's no way. It's not possible. There's no way we can begin to not only meditate and imagine and see ourselves where we want to see ourselves, but we take away fuel from things that are needed, that are important, that are priorities for us. That's what happens when we're burnt out. So that's why we need to address it immediately. We must address our burnout immediately, because the goals, the things we want to accomplish will never get done in a burnt out space. Never. It won't happen. It won't. Or once you get there, you'll also shut down. So you'll end up sabotaging the success and the goals that you set. You'll sabotage it, because your brain and body and your mind will not be able to function at a high level in a burnt out condition, in a burnt out space of exhaustion, where you have nothing in the tank. Okay, number 4. So we talk about reasons to address burnout immediately, and I'm going way over, but our jobs and / careers are stalled. We make costly mistakes. I got my notes here. Group dynamics are strained, and we're not excited to go to work. Everything gets stalled, especially at work. I'm telling y'all, life is too short. Life is too short for us to go to work every day in a burnt out condition. Again, we become somebody else's problem. Somebody else has to pick up the slack, and we make costly mistakes. Some of us, doctors, I told y'all and I will post a link. The American Medical Association just posted an article that 1 out of every 4 doctors are burnt out. I can't even imagine the numbers for the nurses. My mom was a nurse, so I know what that is like when you're in a caring profession. Doctors, nurses, teachers, therapists, counselors, pastors, ministry leaders, activists. You can be in that burnt out space where you have nothing and people are depending on you, and you have nothing to bring. You've been going and going and going, never stop, never addressing the chronic stress. You've allowed the stress to become chronic, and you left it unmanaged, unaddressed, being irresponsible. I gotta say it. We're being irresponsible when we don't manage our burnout. We're being irresponsible because it always impacts someone negatively, and usually the people closest to us. Let me keep you one last one. We can't afford, this is why we have to address our burnout, because now systemically companies, jobs, certain career fields, they're recognizing that their people are burnt out, and they're trying to create and put things in place systemically to address how we can alleviate the burnout that we are caused, that our jobs are causing. Systemically, they're recognizing it. See, again, the World Health Organization is recognizing burnout as finally as a disease, y'all. This is serious stuff. And companies are starting to realize that we cannot, again, the pandemic exposed it. It was there, but the pandemic exposed it, where now we can't, the companies in career fields, and it, especially in the caring professions, doctors, nurses, teachers, therapists, counselors, pastors, all these places where you're caring for other people, realize that burnout is negatively impacting our people. It is literally draining the life out of people. The workers, those that are dependent on, is draining the life out of them because we are expecting too much. The expectations need to be adjusted. But this is number 5. Why we need to address burnout immediately is because by the time those policies get in place, some of us have been wait. See, I can speak to. There's a lot of policies that have not addressed the issues that women have had in their workspaces. And some individuals have been allowed to get away with certain things because they know the policy is, at best, is going to take forever to finally catch them and to negatively impact them, so they can continue to go along to they kind of get away. They're so smart and manipulative that they not only know the policy, but they know that I'm in a position of influence, so I can negatively take advantage of this person here and know that the consequences are far off. By the time those policies come in place, we could think about women. We could think about people of color that have been negatively treated at their workplace, and we're waiting for the policy, waiting for somebody to vote for that thing to come through. No. This is why we need to address our burnout and stress. This is part of the stress at work, the chronic stress that goes unmanaged. See, this is the uncomfortable truth that I got to share. But some of us are in spaces where we're being manipulated, we're being taken advantage of, our expectations are through the roof, our job title hasn't changed, nor has our compensation. This is the challenge. And if we wait for them to finally acknowledge us and to finally realize the work we've been doing, has happened to us in that space, in that time frame, where they say, oh, we need to address this, and then the policy actually changes. Some of us are going to work right now with policies that are in the adjusting phase. I don't even know what you call it. Where they're or we're talking about it. We're discussing it that's on the agenda for next quarterly meeting or whatever. But then by the time then they got to veto it, they got to go back and they got to change language and back and forth. And the whole time you're struggling, the whole time you're doing too much, your job title hasn't changed and your compensation hasn't increased. And then people quit, you get their plate. You got your plate, you got their plate. Let me tell y'all something. Reasons to address last one is we cannot afford to wait for things, situations, policies, etc. to get better. We've got to learn to say no. We got to learn to say no. We have to learn to say no. We cannot wait for the job to get better. We have to be more verbal with our no. See, there's ways to do that. There's strategies. There's and we got to and so we don't there's don't we see this we see when we're in the burnt down space and you're stressed, you're going to react negatively and you're going to eventually explode. What I've heard it called, and Gretchen Rubin calls in her book, The 4 Tendencies, Oblige or Rebellion. You've been saying yes to too many things. Eventually, you're going to explode and you're going to rebel. You're going to want to fuss and cuss. Then all of a sudden, you show up at work and you're going to say the wrong, harsh things, and you're going to curse out your boss. You keep saying yes to too many things. It's coming. That fussing and cussing is coming, y'all. It's coming. I'm laughing about it, but it's serious. because we'll say and do things that will negatively impact our job when we could have been proactive. See, okay, we could be in a burnt out space. We could be exhausted, but we got to be wise in how we speak and address these challenges and the policies that need to change, et cetera, et cetera. We got to be wise on how to do it, but we have to be willing. We have to be willing to say, you know what? I can no longer do X, Y, and Z. I'm getting paid for ABC, but I'm not getting compensated for X, Y, Z. I'm going to say no. Which one do you want me to do? Because I work my hours. Oh, goodness. When it's time to go to work, when it's time to go home, y'all, we got to go home. We're not getting compensated. That is stressful when we're going past our time. And see, let me tell y'all something. Just because it's time and a half or even double, that's still not compensation. Because if we were getting paid two salaries, that'll be something else. Then we could talk. We can have a conversation. But that's not usually the case. And they're leaning on us. You know who you are, former nice guy and gal. You know who you are. You know who you are listening to this. You're doing two people's job. You're getting one check, and you're working 50, 60, 70, 80, and you don't. It's unwise, and we're not being wise stewards of our personhood. We're not. And it's time. It's time to address our burnout immediately. We cannot wait. And I know working in the school system, this is our summertime. This is kind of our space so I know for me is to inventory and kind of get rid of old, bring in the new, and I'm challenging us. That's why I'm excited about this workshop next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I need you to sign up. Join How to Beat Burnout. 3 ways. It's going to be practical, it's going to be interactive, but it's going to be transformational. I need us to get here. I wish there was 100 people talking about burnout. My fellow counselors and therapists. I need us out here. This is a topic that it's easy to ignore, but the results are always negative, and it impacts the people that are closest to us, and we got to address it. I'm going to end here, and I hope that, again, 5 reasons to address burnout immediately. So go back and listen to it later, and I'm glad you guys hopped on. I'm getting used to doing. I like doing this 2-way thing, where I got my Facebook, I got my IG folks. We did. We're human beings. We have limited bandwidth that we can use on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. We're burnt out because we said yes to too many things. You know who you are. I've been there. And we need to learn how to address address stress. Those stressful situations, we need to learn how to address it wisely, practically, without becoming someone's doormat. You know who you are, and it's time. It's time. We can say no with, oh boy, we can say no with a smile. I got something coming. I need y'all to join me next Wednesday, 8 p.m., Beating Burnout Workshop. You're going to want to be there. It's going to be practical, immediately applicable principles that I'm going to be teaching. You could, as soon as you finish listening, boom, you can apply it right away. Okay, so I'm gonna see y'all next week, and God bless you guys. Have a great night. Whenever you listen to this, have a great day, great night. It's time to address and beat burnout. This is serious, y'all, but we can do it. There's ways to do it. We can say no with a smile. Say no, though. We got to be willing to say no. See y'all later. Oh, catchphrase. I got to remember to say this every night, every time we finish. But nice people do finish last, but kind ones rise to the top and are sustained there. Kind ones. See y'all next week.